she's running on March 9th, Syracuse, Georgia.
Oh, NASCAR.
So when
Gymnastics.
Figure skating.
Is that what it was?
Figure skating.
Okay.
Do you ever ask where I am?
I asked him, Elvis Wills, one of the usual suspects in here. Yes.
So when you have a player like Otto as hot as he was on Saturday, you obviously are cognizant of that. Do you through designing plays or calling the plays or just through talking to the guys say, hey, Otto's hot, we need to give him the ball, that sort of thing? How does it affect how you
We
do
say
your
forget
game?
him, let's get someone else some shots.
Well, okay, well, no, but I mean, how much does it affect your calling of the game since?
Well, I mean, one thing with their zone, it's difficult to draw their play just because of how they adjust, how they tweak. That's the nature why their defense is so successful. You're not really sure where your looks are coming from. One thing that they're great at, not just good at, great at, is once you hit a shot from spot X, it's not a generic standard high school 2-3 zone. They make adjustments, they make tweaks, and very seldom do you get the same shot 2, 3, 4 times in a row. And so what we wanted to do was just keep moving him around to different spots. And if you look at his points, they were from all over the place, as opposed to one particular spot. And so that's a credit to them how they play their zone. And our guys did a good job. We have a selfless team, and our guys did a good job of realizing, hey, let's see if we can get him some shots and screening for him and getting him open.
How impressed were you with the team's defense? Considering Otto's performance, and it seemed like the defensive side of the ball was just as important for you guys.
I agree. I think that's been the case. I know you've heard me say it all year, where for whatever reason, your profession has decided to just, for the most part, talk about our offense down through the years, and the fact that we're still Georgetown and playing Georgetown defense has gone unnoticed. And most nights this year, our defense has been very good. We've had some blips, but most nights it's been very good, and I don't think the other day was any different.
How long can you let yourself or the team,
Until the plane landed.
Okay.
And then we started focusing on Connecticut. Now, it's much easier for me to do it, and you hope that, we talk about it, and we talk about it with them. They're still kids, they're still young men that spent the last couple of days with everyone telling them how great they are. And so we try to come in here and let them, hey fellas, what we've done in the past is ancient history. We have to be better in our goals. We don't want our season to be defined by a Syracuse win at the Dome. Our goals and what we want to accomplish is still ahead of us. So we have to keep the same mindset. And we're the same team after 2 losses to start off the conference as we are going up and winning in the Dome. So we have to have that same mindset that we did coming to work that week, today, yesterday, as we did then.
Do you think they have that?
Is that the question?
Yes. Yes.
I think so. I hope so. I think we have a young team, but I think we have a mature team, if you can have both. I think we have a mature team. And I do think they understand. We've had practices have said that they understand. Now we'll see how we go and play.
You were asked a couple weeks ago, why does Otto fly under the radar? And you said because maybe from the national reporters aren't writing about him. I think that's not the case now. Would you have to say anything to him on the flip side about the attention?
No. Otto Porter is every day. He's steady. He honestly doesn't care. He wants to win. And I can say that as much as any player that I've had. All that comes along, all the attentions he's getting, he wants to win. And you see it in his play every day. It's easy to talk about 33 points versus Syracuse, but those steals were just as important, the rebounds, and he does that every day regardless of who the opponent is. And so I don't think, as far as staying grounded and not getting caught up in himself, he's not built like that.
When you brought him here from small town Missouri, we were wondering how long it would take him to fit in, so to speak, in the city life and the Georgetown life. He was just saying it took him a little bit of time, but not too long. From your perspective,
He said as if it took him a while.
Well, he said it took like over the first summer. He said it took him some getting used to.
I think he fit right in immediately. And I say that to say every freshman, even if you're from big city USA, when you go away to college, clumped down with people that you met and hung out with on a recruiting visit, but you don't really know. That's an adjustment period. That's the adjustment. All freshmen, whether you're an athlete or not, it's going to take a couple of weeks to get settled in. So I don't think his his adjustment period was any different than any other freshman.
You said you mentioned or had talked with him about the NBA previously. After he scores, has a 33-point game. His stock in the mock drafts is rising. He's top 10 consensus now.
He was before that, wasn't he?
Well, he was getting there. He's higher than he was a few days ago. I'll put it that way.
You checked?
Yes, I did. So, do you have to have that conversation again with him, or just
No. We'll
steady
talk
on
about
it?
that when the time is appropriate. So let's
Okay.
hope this doesn't happen. Based on that, if he goes out and has a bad game, so now we got to go talk about it again.
No.
This is something that does need to be revisited
Right.
after every game.
I've been hesitant over the weeks to make this.
So then don't. It's worked so far. Whatever you're going to mess up, don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. You know what I'm going to say.
Yeah, well, I don't know. After he does the game like that, and especially in the first half, compares you guys, the Reggie and the Miracles comparisons sort of stuck with me for a while. And after that game, does that sort of, on the whole, you guys they weren't projected to have, they were projected to have a little bit of a down season compared to the year before. You guys weren't ranked. Now you're here. They were top 10. The Reggie Williams auto thing. Does any of that kind of ring true to you?
I never thought about that, to tell you the truth. And I guess I probably have to go back and I remember the team, but I don't remember that team. Or that season, I should say, if that makes sense. So I'm probably, looks like you've looked into it and thought about it a little more than me. I'm not sure what to say to that. How did they end up?
Elite Eight.
Let's see.
I don't know.
Long way to go.
John, what do you remember about the first time you met Otto? I don't know if that was in his hometown or if that was some camp or whatever, but what do you remember about your first impressions of him, the guy?
I do remember the first time. The first thing for meeting him actually was, okay, after watching him play, he's as good as he looked on tape, if not better. I do remember that. But just humble, genuine. Probably these two words would be my first impression.
Do you remember how he approached meeting you? And I mean, I don't know if he was nervous or confident. I mean, he seems pretty humble, regardless of the situation.
He's probably just like he is talking to you guys. I mean, Otto is who he is. He's not, he's not going to be different in any situation. He's just a normal guy.
He didn't go the AAU route and instead played against family members, which I think is probably a little unusual these days. But were you at all concerned about the competition that he hadn't been used to? Bringing him into this conference and even practices here.
No, I was not worried about that. Saw enough of him to think he'd be okay. I was not worried about that.
You guys played Connecticut. I guess we should ask about them. What's the key for you guys against them?
I think that they are still possibly one of the more talented teams in our conference. And those guards are terrific. AP and Boatwright, and they put so much pressure on you. And I think they do a very good job of getting them the ball in situations where it's more difficult to help than relative to what other teams do. And so just our defense has to be good. I mean, it's the same thing. If we defend, if we rebound, if we stop them in transition, hopefully we'll get enough offense to win.
We've obviously talked a lot about Otto, but there were other guys in that game, and Moses stepped up with 10 rebounds. Jabril had a lot of assists. Those two in particular, just their keys to that.
I thought Jabril was terrific. I thought he was terrific with his penetration in there, and then finding Otto. I think which one of y'all two was asking about that. I forget who it was, but getting him the ball. I think he did a very good job of creating pressure on their defense, and then finding Otto. I mean, even a couple of times where we didn't get the basket, Jabril made good penetration and found the right person. And then Moses was very good too, and not just I think that it's one of those games where the stat sheet you look at the 10 rebounds and that was great, especially because most of it was in one half. Just his presence in the middle of our zone, we went to zone. I thought Moses was very effective.
When you started 0-2, just had an overall rough start this first few games in the East, it seemed like, especially a couple of those post-game press conferences, there was sort of a search for an answer, so to speak.
No, you're making that up.
Okay. I am making that up.
I know.
But what was the answer? What has been the answer to that slow start that's caused this
I
good
think,
stretch of basketball.
I just think we're getting better, and I don't want them to think, or you guys to write as if we are where we're going to be. You know, I think we've consistently improved. Guys, talking about guys who've been called upon have stepped up when their numbers been called. We have to keep doing that. But we just have to keep getting better, and we just have to keep finding ways to win each individual game.
Is Moses an example of how you guys have actually improved defensively? Is that performance a result of his growth over the season, or is it just a timing thing? Or
Probably both, to be honest. I mean, that was a good game for him for a lot of different reasons, which I don't want to go into. But he, as along with everyone else, has gotten better as the years gone on. So it's probably both.
So if we weren't writing enough about Otto, now we're not writing enough about the defense. What's the next thing we're not going to
I didn't say you weren't writing enough about it. I just said it hasn't been. You like to, not necessarily you, meaning you right here,
Like to
but
twist
talk
your
about,
words.
like to talk about the Princeton offense.
Yes,
and
I get
ignore
it.
the
Yeah,
fact
right.
that we've been playing Georgetown defense.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Any more questions?
National rankings, I know, are not a big focus for you, but you guys are back in the top 10 this week. I think it's 7 straight years for you. What does that say? Does that mean anything to you just in terms of how you've been able to sustain this program no matter who's been here? Does that give you any sort of satisfaction?
Yes, it does, being honest. But at the same time, I think we have bigger fish to fry. And so much like I said, I don't want this season to be defined by a Syracuse game at the Dome. I don't want it also to be defined by the 7th year in the top 10. We have bigger aspirations, bigger fish to fry. But that being said, it shows we've been consistent. And whatever else you guys can figure out to say. Sounds better coming from you than from me.
Thank you, Coach.
That makes sense?